when I say shop local, it's not just a buzzword. No, because I know a lot of people use that just just to make a point of trying to sell something. But I truly think when you start like buying things from your immediate surroundings, not only are you improving the life of your surrounding, but you're also improving your own, your own life. So my name is Hamid Absal. I'm from Morocco. I'm born in a small village around the town of Rashidia, which is in the south near the deserts. I grew up in the Medina of Meknes, and right now I'm a woodworker. It first came up as a personal project. I wanted to furnish my room. I had just moved back to Meknes from Tangier. I didn't want to get those ready-made industrial furniture because it did not exactly fit my need, and so I decided to get it handmade, just like we used to when I was a kid. I decided to go back, let's say, to this long-lived, maybe almost long lost tradition of crafting your own furniture, and that's how it started. I didn't really want to have those square shaped mirrors. I wanted something special, something wobbly, you could say. This trend of wobbly mirrors was just starting. You could just start seeing it on social media. So I was like, oh, I want that. That looks nice. But that was also very expensive because it was all imported. And so I wondered what's the deal with it? Is it really that hard to make? So I decided to go to those very same artisans and just ask the questions. At first, they were pretty resistant to it. They were like, "Oh, I don't think we can do that." And then it was like, "Well, maybe we can try." And it was like, "Oh, well, maybe we can try." And we tried, and it worked out. And with social media, you try and talk about your life on social media at the same time. And so I was doing just that. I even posted a reel about it. It was just on my personal accounts, and all of my friends were hooked with it, and they really liked it. And a lot of people are asking me like, "Oh, can you ask him to make one for me?" So it's like, "Sure, I can do that." I would say luck would have it that this friend of mine who also just moved back from to Meknes, who is an architect, and we were just sitting there in a cafe, and was like, "Oh, you know what? I just want to make something and sell it. I want to live this experience of making something and then selling it." So I was like, "Oh well, I just made a mirror. Let's try and sell it." And so we did just that. People think that inventors comes from the word invent, but we don't. It's not invents. It actually comes from inventory. What we do is that we do the inventory of everything that is done, or every discipline, every artisanal discipline in the Medina, and we try and see what we can do with it, and we try to make to create a network. If you could say, between all those disciplines. But what I came to learn, what I came to notice later on, is that they already did that. They did not need me for that part. It turns out they already all knew each other. They all knew each other. The first person that I worked with and the main person that I work with actually is Said. Every time we come across like something that he can't do, he already knows someone that can do it. It's crazy the amount of collaboration that already works within the Medina. And they often say the Medina is an organized chaos, but it's not a chaos. It's an organization on its own right. It's just that I think we're used to using the word organization in the context of industry, big industries, rather than one big urban space where everything happens. Even if you, as a one person, work with one artisan, it turns out that that artisan is actually working with three or four other ones. So if he, I don't know, if he asks for $100 for to make you something, he's not going to be the only one taking the $100. He's going to be sharing that with all the other people that are going to work with. They too have their own little workshops, and so there's just this very intricate organization of people working with each other for their very different projects. That's what makes it, community work. I see some woodworkers with whom I've never spoke or worked, using like some design aspects that I would use. So, for instance, I remember making a table and it had like round legs round straight legs that came all the way down, which is not something that they used to make. All it took was 2 weeks, and I was walking by and I saw someone using the exact same legs on one of their tables. When I first talked about it to some friends, and they were like, "Oh well, oh, they shouldn't do that." I was like, I mean, they should. What am I there for? I'm there to actually be a to complement the market. I'm not there to use their space and keep it to myself. And Ventier's first job is, for me at least, is to is not to be a parasite in that space. I want to be, I wouldn't say I want to be one of them, but I at least want to have a positive impact. Because if they see, what they do is that if they see someone making a table within a certain style, they're just going to assume or guess that it works because it already sold. And so they're going to make a new one. They're usually older generation. They don't use social media a lot, or if they use it, they don't use it the way that we use it. A lot of my inspiration for the furniture that I design comes from social media. So what I do is that I bring Instagram and Pinterest design sort of to the Medina and give them that access. So I'm sort of this link between the outside social media world and the Medina. I think I'm plagued with the power of noticing. Oftentimes, people don't really consider where that thing is coming from, who made that, and how it was made. As long as it fits their budget and as long as it fits their aesthetic, In Moroccan culture, the handmade is very respected. I guess it has a lot to do with the hands that made it. They look for those little imperfections that just mean that it was made by hand, just for them to be proud that it was made by hand and it actually is Moroccan because it was made by Moroccan hands. I mean, if you look up just Zalich on the internet right now, you're going to find other versions of it being made, not just Moroccan anymore, but also Spanish. And you look at the Spanish Zalich and you're like, oh, it definitely looks Spanish because it was not made by hand. There's this perfection, of the shape. But the Moroccan one, there are all these imperfections. I mean, there are all these quirks that you look at it and you're like, okay, this is local, this is ours. As a Moroccan, the symbolic is very important. And we still want to put community first above efficiency. I think this is what we need to work on instead of just making more and more and more. All the friends that I grew up with, most of them don't live in Morocco anymore. Most of them are in France. And you look at their interiors, I wouldn't say it's 100% Moroccan, but there's definitely like a fair amount of Moroccan objects. And every time they come here to visit their family or friends, they would absolutely have to go back carrying something in their bags. They just can't go back with nothing. It could be anything. It could be a bowl. It could be a napkin. Anything. They just have to take it with them because it's just that important.
مغدادي سيدي المغدادي